When Admiral Sir Peter Parker and 9 British warships attacked Charleston near the beginning of the American Revolutionary War, their target was an unnamed and incomplete fortress constructed of palmetto logs. The soft palmetto logs did not crack under bombardment, but either absorbed the shot or merely bounced the incoming cannonballs away. Charleston was saved from capture, and the fort was named for the commander in the battle, William Moultrie. Fort Moultrie was successfully defended against 2 more British attacks, but in 1780 fell to an overwhelming British force and became occupied for 2 years. As tensions heightened after Great Britain and France declared war in 1793, the United States embarked on a systematic fortification of 20 important harbors, including Charleston. A new Fort Moultrie, constructed of brick and mortar, was completed in 1798 over the decayed original fort. Between 1809 and 1860, Fort Moultrie changed very little, while newly created Fort Sumter became the main component of Charleston's defense. One of 4 forts around Charleston Harbor, it was actually Moultrie's brave defenders who chose not to surrender to the Confederacy. Few recall that on December 26, 1860, Major Robert Anderson removed his garrison at Fort Moultrie to the stronger Fort Sumter. Just 3.5 months later, Confederate troops shelled Fort Sumter into submission, and the American Civil War began. In April 1863, Federal ironclads and shore batteries began a 20-month bombardment of Fort Sumter and Moultrie. The Confederates held the forts and the harbor until February 1865, when the Army evacuated the city. Fort Moultrie was also an active U.S. Army fortification in the years leading up to and including World War II. In the 30s, under Colonel George C. Marshall's command of the 8th U.S. Infantry, a number of anti-aircraft gun batteries and other defenses were added. As a direct result, the busy sea lanes just off the coast of South Carolina were well protected against the threat of German U-boats, which only twice during the war had attempted to mine. Of course, George Marshall went on to become one of the 20th century's most notable characters, serving as FDR's Chief of Staff, Secretary of State, Secretary of War, and author of the Marshall Plan for rebuilding Europe. In the years since the war, the fort became inactive and was eventually turned over to the National Park Service. It's been designated as the Fort Moultrie National Monument, a unit of the Fort Sumter National Monument.